everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, as you can see by the title, I'm going to be talking to you guys all about FSU and all the things that you need to know. I'm sure a lot of you guys are going through the college selection process right now where you've gotten back your acceptance letters and you're trying to figure out which college is going to be the best fit for you. It's a really exciting time in your life, but I know the decision can be really difficult to narrow down. So if FSU happens to be on your list, maybe this video will help you guys get a better insight from a student. I am currently a junior studying finance and marketing here at FSU. I am a transfer student, so my experience is going to be a little bit different. I definitely didn't have the incoming freshman experience, but I definitely still know a lot about the resources on campus and what to expect and from what I've heard from other people. So if you guys are interested in hearing more about FSU, then just keep on watching. And be sure to subscribe to my channel if you're new. I post videos all about beauty, lifestyle, college. So if those are things that you like to watch, then definitely be sure to subscribe, and I will leave my Instagram and all my social media accounts down below if you guys want to follow me on there. You already know I had to rep my school, so I'm wearing a hat today, which I never do, and I'm about to jump on a flight to New York shortly for an interview, so I need to get this done. So good. I feel like I should start the video by saying the coffee shops here are the best. That Cafe Con Leche from the Lucky Goat, good stuff. So I'm gonna break this video down into subjects or subcategories, I think is a better word, just so that way we can address different topics. So first things first, I thought I would talk about resources that the campus has to offer. There are tons, but I just want to go over a brief couple. And again, there are so many things that this school offers that I will not address in this video because it would literally just be hours long. But hopefully I can give you guys a nice short gist of what the school has to offer. And again, if you have any further questions, I will answer them down below. So if you guys are interested in getting involved, which I highly recommend, there are tons of fraternities and sororities. So I'm not really sure about the whole recruitment process, and unfortunately I can't really speak on that because I didn't go through it. But I do know that especially for the fall, it does start prior to school starting. So you would have to figure out a living situation or stay with someone and do that whole process. Again, I don't know much about it, but there are tons of fraternities and sororities. So if that's something you're interested in, highly recommend it. I've heard lots of good things about it. It's a great way to meet friends and really get involved and do charity work and all that fun stuff. But if you're interested in getting involved on campus in a club or organization, there are over 650 different clubs / organizations, which is crazy. So there really is something for everyone, and if there isn't something that you're interested in and you want to start something, you can totally go about doing that. It is a little bit of a longer process, but it's something that's totally feasible. I believe you just have to have an advisor, so you have to get a professor to advise. You just have to have a certain amount of people sign something and make a constitution pretty much, and you can start a club. So it's really cool that the school lets you do that, and it's totally free and everything. But if you want to just join an existing one, there are 650 to choose from. There's actually an entire list on the school website if you just go onto Google and type in FSU clubs or student organizations, and it lists all of them, and it actually will let you get in contact with them. And for me personally, one thing I love to do is if I'm interested in the club, I'll look them up on Instagram and kind of get a gist for what they do, and that really helps me kind of determine if I feel it would be good for me. But I did want to mention that at the beginning of every semester, the school does put on an involvement fair. So a lot of these student organizations sit down at a table, and you can walk around. It's usually in the gym, so you just kind of walk around. There's so many, it's kind of overwhelming, so you kind of want to go in knowing what you want to look at. But you can kind of talk to the members and see what they do, figure out about the first meetings and stuff like that. So it's a really great way to figure out what's going to be best for you. But I highly recommend getting involved. Again, it's really great way to meet people, and just it looks great on a resume. Libraries. So obviously you're going to school, so you want to do some studying. You might have to use the computers. You might even have to go there for an assignment or something. There are 8 libraries on FSU's campus, which is crazy. There's tons. The 2 main ones, which you'll hear the most about, or you've probably, if you've taken a tour, have seen, are Dirac and Strozer. So for me personally, I am Strozer all the way just because I'm in the College of Business, so it's right next to Strozer. So I'm a little biased. Strozer's my favorite. But Dirac is known more for being the science library, so I don't know if you're a med student or bio, all that fun stuff. I know a lot of them go to that one because your classes are usually over there. But they're not far from each other. They're probably a 10-minute walk between each other, so you could totally like hit up both or whatever, depending on if like one's really crazy busy. But there's lots of area to find a computer or like to find a study space, and it's also a great way to meet people. Each floor, the higher you get, the quieter it gets, so depending on like if you're like hanging out with friends in the bottom floor, or you could totally go to the top floor and like just study and like there not be any noise. I also wanted to mention that it usually is 24 hours depending on the day of the week. I think Sunday through Thursday are 24 hours, and then Friday, Saturday, the hours are a little bit shorter. But that is a really great thing, so you can like always access it if you need to like, you know, use the computers. I also wanted to mention that Starbucks is in both the libraries. I'm not as sure about Dirac how late it's open, but I do know in Strozier it is 24/7 on the days the library is 24/7. So that's awesome. So if you ever need coffee, it's always at your access. But there are 6 other libraries on campus. I know that the College of Law has their own library, and I think like the med school has their own library. So, and you have access to all of them. So depending on where you go on campus, you're always like near one. So that's great. Okay, I also want to talk about tutoring. I actually work as a tutor in the ACE Learning Studio, which if you guys go to FSU and you've never been there, which I've heard a lot, you really should go. It's one of the newest buildings, if not the newest, at FSU. Super high tech looking. There's lots of study rooms in there, so you can like for free check out a study room, which is great if you're like trying to like do a study group or something, or just get some like space for yourself. There's whiteboards, there's projectors, all that fun stuff. But they do have free tutoring, like one-on-one group sessions, all these different types of tutoring depending on what's going to work best for you for a lot of like the main prereq classes, so like biology, chemistry, accounting, economics, like basically all the hard classes there's usually a tutor for. As you start getting more into your major, your program, that tutoring kind of goes away. But for like the harder prereqs and stuff like that, there is tutoring available, so I highly recommend taking advantage of that because the tutors are amazing. And there's also free tutoring in Strozier Library. Not sure about the times, but I know for like chemistry, biology, accounting, I think like the math classes, there's tutoring in there as well. And I think that's more so you don't need to make an appointment. You could just like walk in and like talk to a tutor. Also in the ACE Learning Studio, they have a math and writing center. So those two are like walk-ins where you can just totally walk into the math studio and have like someone come sit down and like look over what you need help with, and with writing as well. Like someone will sit down with you, read over your assignment, see if you know like it's grammatically correct. I just wanted to mention that like there's so many tutoring services, like free tutoring services available, which is awesome. So I highly recommend taking advantage of that. Most classes always have like TAs, depending on how big the class size is, and I highly recommend taking advantage of that. They're usually students in their master's program, doctorate's program, and they know a lot about the topic and they're really willing to help. So definitely take advantage of all those resources. I know I'm saying a lot, but there's just so much I want to say because there's so many things that the school has to offer, and yeah. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is workload in classes. With your prereq classes, they usually are going to be more lecture, bigger style classroom sizes. Like I know I had a class last semester with I think like 500 kids, which is a lot of people. But I will say that they do a really good job of still managing that. So for my accounting class, that was a lecture style, intro to financial accounting, if you ever have to take that. It is a lecture style. It meets like 3 days a week, which I think is great because you're constantly looking at the material. But on the 3rd day of the week, you meet with a TA in a smaller environment. So it's usually just like 20 kids. And you really have the time then to like ask your questions one-on-one more so. So don't be overwhelmed by that number. I know it can be hard to like stand out and like talk to the professor, but they always usually have office hours, and the TAs make it really easy to get your questions answered. As you move on into your program, into your more specific major courses, the class sizes like drop dramatically. Like I'm taking a class right now that has probably like 20 kids in it, you know what I mean? So prereq's definitely going to be bigger class sizes, but as you move in, it's going to get smaller. And yeah, as far as the workload goes, I did want to like brush upon this because I feel like I hear so many people say that college is super easy, and my response is always, what school do you go to? Because it is not easy where I go to school. FSU really pushes you. It's really competitive. It's really hard to get in. So I mean, it should be, you know what I mean? Like everyone there is really intelligent, and as much as FSU has this rep of being a party school, and trust me, it definitely is, there's always an opportunity to go out and party. But at the same time, I feel like FSU students have a really good sense of that work hard, play hard mentality. And so you'll see like a lot of people in the library all the time, and The classes you have to take, I can only speak upon, again, like my program, so I'm in the School of Business as a finance major. I'm required to take like insurance classes and accounting classes and marketing classes and like basically like a computer class, because they want you to have a full range of the business spectrum, so that like no matter who you're interacting with or what you're doing, you have that skill set and knowledge to be successful. And I think that's so amazing. So I will say that it's not easy, but there's so many resources that FSU really does want you to be successful. And so don't be like scared by what I'm saying, but definitely make sure that you're taking advantage of everything that the school has to offer, because they really do want, like, have your best interest in mind. And I also did want to mention that it is a really big university. So obviously if you're going to a private university, it's going to be a lot smaller. It's going to be like, I don't know, like 10,000, 14,000 kids. FSU does have over 40,000 kids, which is crazy to even think about. And there are definitely pros and cons with that, of course. Obviously you're not going to get as much one-on-one attention, but like I mentioned, the school does a very good job of trying to implement all these different resources for you to go out there and get help. So while it is a big school and some of your classes are going to be really big, there are ways to be successful. I also quickly wanted to talk about office hours. So teachers will always tell you their office hours usually in the syllabus week and whatnot. And guys, I cannot recommend and stress this enough. Like, make sure on the first day of class you go up and introduce yourself. They probably won't remember you, and that's totally fine. But then make sure within like the first month or two that you go to an office hours. I can't tell you how many times that I've showed up being super nervous that like they're not gonna know me or like care to answer my questions, or they're too busy. And I swear almost every time, guys, they like no one's in their office. They literally are so lonely and they just want to talk to people. And if you take the time to put yourself out there and introduce yourself and ask questions, and they see that you're trying, they will like do everything for you. I just went on an amazing New York trip where I got to network with a bunch of different marketing companies, because I stayed after class and spoke to my marketing professor last semester. Like, I can't stress enough how important it is to build relationships with your teachers. Connections go so far. These professors are really like the best of the best. That is why they are teaching at FSU, and they know so many people, and if they don't, they will get you in touch with someone that does. So take advantage of that. Make sure you go to office hours, and even if you don't have a question, just like have a conversation. I swear, like, it will take you so far. So take advantage of that. Okay, next I wanted to talk about food. I feel like this is a big like thing that people want to know, right? So the school does have a cafeteria-ish kind of thing. I don't know what you call it, like a lunch hall or like a food hall. I don't know what it's called. I like totally, what is it called? It's called Swanee. I've actually never been in there, so I really can't speak much about it, but it's there. But the more popular thing I know for freshmen, especially if you live on campus, is called the Den, and it's basically like a 24/7 Denny's. I know a lot of people go there with their friends like after they go out just to like sober up, so that's really cool. There's a Chick-fil-A on campus as well, so that's like a big plus. Like I mentioned, that there is a Starbucks in the libraries, so that's great. There's also a bagel place. Like there definitely is a lot of things on campus, but as far as around campus, there's lots of fast food, like every fast food you can imagine. Lots of really good restaurants. Tallahassee is the state capital, and there are a lot of government workers, so very close to campus there are some really nice restaurants and bars and stuff like that. So if you want to like be bougie and go have a nice meal with your family when they visit, you totally can do that. Alright, next up is safety. I feel like this is something that maybe you're not as concerned about, but once you get to school you will be, and I'm sure your parents are wanting to know these things. So I feel like it can be hard to really judge, like only visiting the campus like a day or so, right? So I figured I would touch upon this a little bit. The campus itself is very safe. I want to just stress that. When you're on campus, you don't ever feel like you're in danger. Like even when it's super late at night, I feel like you feel really safe. They have the blue light system. There are usually cops, like FSU cops, roaming around the campus. If God forbid you don't feel safe, I know you can call a number and they will literally pick you up wherever you are on campus and bring you to like your dorm or somewhere else on campus. So I definitely feel like the campus itself is super safe. But the town itself, not the best. And I feel like a lot of college towns are this way, so it's not like, I feel like crazy to go out on a whim and say this. Like Tallahassee itself is not the safest. You are living off campus, you definitely want to make sure that you have reliable transportation. There is a bus system, but after certain hours I would not recommend using it, even though there is still like a night owl bus that will take you around the town. don't really recommend it unless you're with a ton of friends. So definitely make sure you have reliable transportation. If you're walking at night, make sure you're not by yourself. I definitely just don't recommend like walking around the town at night, but as far as like during the day, it really is pretty safe. But definitely if you are wanting to come here and trying to find somewhere to live off campus, I would recommend like driving around your area, around like where you're wanting to live and seeing. But if you're close to campus, like I live right off campus, it's probably like a 10-minute walk, not even, like probably like 5 minutes to the campus. You're pretty safe, because there are so many students during the day walking around. But the further and further you get, you definitely, again, want to, like I said, want to have reliable transportation. But I feel like this leads into something else I should talk about, which is parking. I'm just going to say how it is. The parking at FSU sucks. It is so bad. I'm so fortunate that I live very close to campus that I don't really need to drive. But if you are living further away, this is something to keep in mind. There is a bus system. They're really good about like going pretty frequently, and they run up until 7 o'clock at night. So after 7, it becomes an issue. There is a night out, like I mentioned. It doesn't go everywhere, but it does take you to like main destinations in Tallahassee if you go out at night. But parking is really difficult. If you like get to campus after like 9:30, 10 o'clock, it's like you'll be waiting for like an hour to find a parking spot. So definitely something to keep in mind. You want to probably stay close to campus if you're trying to live off campus. But yeah, I wanted to touch upon that. All right, and then I saved the best for last because I'm sure you guys are all at this video because you want to know about the nightlife. So FSU is known for being a party school, and I would say it is. Like, college is fun in general because you're like away from your parents, or, you know, like you're done with high school and it's like freedom, right? So, but I will say FSU in general is a really fun school. We obviously are known for athletics, so game days are so freaking fun, especially football games, even though we sucked this past year. But we are in the Sweet 16 right now, so that's really exciting. We're a basketball school now. But yeah, nightlife. So one of the main areas I want to talk about is called College Town. It's relatively new. It's pretty brand new. I want to say it was like built within the last 5 years, so definitely really nice. There's a rooftop club called Recess that is really popular. They have like a pool, so like in the summer, spring and summer and fall, they have like pool parties during the day and stuff like that. So that's a really fun one to go to. In College Town, there's also 2 bars that are really popular. If you're over 21, it's really fun, that are called Township and Matzo, and they always have like really fun events going on for students. If you're over 21, there's a bar called Bullwinkle's that's on Thursday nights, and it's like all you can drink for, I want to say $8. Again, you have to be 21, but really, really fun. But there is always somewhere to go to party at FSU. So like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You can always go out and party. So if you want to, it's available depending on the place. There's a place called Bajas that's really fun. It's more like Spanish vibe. Potts is more like freshmen. A lot of freshmen go there because it's really close to campus. And you can go to Midtown, which is a little bit further out, but a bus can take you there, and there'll be more like locals and older people if you want like that more kind of a scene. So yeah, there's something to do all the time. Obviously like frats and sororities are always throwing parties, so those are really fun to go to. But yeah, so if you're like worried about the nightlife and like the fun stuff, don't be, because there's always something to do. Like I said, game days, once those come back around, are so fun. Our school does a really good job when it comes to like school spirit and like getting together and like doing fun stuff, tailgates and everything. I feel like I touched upon a lot. I feel like I was just like rambling on for the last 20 minutes. Hopefully that you guys were able to take something away from this if you really are interested in FSU. I just want to end by saying I've only been here now for like 2 semesters, but it has been the most amazing 2 semesters ever. I've met some really great people, really great professors that really care about their students. I've learned so much. It's challenged me a lot, but I've grown so much because of that. There are so many career fairs, ways to like get internships and start looking into jobs. There's just so many resources. There's like a whole career center that you can go to work on like mock interviews, and like if you need clothing for interviews, like the school has every resource you could possibly need at your doorstep. So again, take advantage of it. It's an amazing school. As fun as it is, there definitely is a lot of work involved. So be sure that when you come here, you come with that mindset of work hard, play hard, and you will be successful in whatever you do. If you guys have any further questions, again, leave them down below. Leave them down below. If I have enough questions, I'll probably film like a whole separate video answering those questions. And best of luck if you're watching this and you're trying to select a college. Obviously, I want you guys to come to FSU because it's the best. Go Noles. But if you don't, I wish you guys the best of luck wherever you choose to go. Did I mention that FSU's in Florida, so it's really fun because it's always nice here except for like 2 months of the year, but it's okay. I will see you guys in my next video.